Hello, today we're speaking with James Laux, coach of the Philadelphia Revolution. I'm Frank Marcello. James, let's begin with your background, what you did growing up and how you got to the place where you are now.
I grew up in the Philadelphia area. I grew up playing AA and AAA hockey in the Philadelphia area for Little Flyers and another organization called the Gladiators. Moved up to Junior B when I was 18, also playing for the Little Flyers then. And from then I got some Junior A opportunities and wound up moving out to the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League, playing for the Weyburn Red Wings there.
In the jump from Junior B to Junior A, how did that happen? Who found you?
I got scouted by a ex-player that played for Weyburn when I was at the Junior B Nationals in Minnesota. And he had played in Weyburn, had a good experience there. He went on to play Division I for St. Cloud State, and he thought it would be a good fit for me to go out there and play. So he introduced me and got me out there for the tryout. And yeah, it's a big jump from Junior B, especially in the area, to Junior A. I think a lot of kids don't realize that you know, for most players it's a 2-year investment when you go from Junior B to Junior A.
So you were 18 years old, still playing Junior B?
That's
so
correct.
So you did not play your first Junior A game until you were 19 years old?
Yeah.
Now that's obviously something that doesn't happen all the time.
Yeah, I for sure was a late bloomer. Didn't really grow until I was 17, and didn't really get any attention from anywhere until I was 18.
And what position did you play?
I was a defenseman. I majored in sociology, and I think it helped that I was a 21-year-old freshman. You know, I wasn't kind of wowed by being out on my own for the first time because I already had that, you know, under my belt for a few years. And they do a good job with their Division I programs in making sure that you're attending class, and if your grades slip to a certain level, then you're mandatory study hall with the team and coaches supervising. Colorado, we actually had the block program, so your schedule was very regimented. So, you know, 9 till 12 every day you have class, 1 o'clock you have lunch, 3 o'clock you're going to practice, you're coming home, doing your homework, and getting to bed. So, I mean, it's very regimented, but also it's a requirement that you do well in school if you want to continue playing hockey. So you got your motivation built right in.
Excellent. Now let's backtrack a little and talk about the sacrifices your parents made getting you. Tell us about your family, how many brothers and sisters you have, and what your dad and mom did to get you where you ended up ultimately.
I had an older brother and a younger sister. My older brother ultimately is what got me involved in hockey. He unfortunately didn't get a start until he was about 12, which, as you know, is a late start.
He's an old man already by then.
That's an old man in the youth hockey world. So luckily I was only 5 when he started getting into hockey, so I got to start at a young age. And I also have a younger sister, and you know, I'm sure as you know, as a hockey parent, siblings and parents get drug along to you know, all the 6 a.m. skates. And being from Philly, my dad even, you know, went to the extent that in summer hockey there wasn't really any summer programs around Philly, so we made the trip from Philly to Washington, D.C. to play for a summer team, practice once a week, and play for their tournaments. Well, scouting is a year-round process, and rely a lot on the networks and the relationships that you make with people that know what they're talking about with hockey from different areas, because, you know, as an organization we can't be in Michigan, in Buffalo. You know, we have kids, you know, on our camp this past weekend that were from California, from Canada, from Ukraine, from all over the place. So we rely heavily on the relationships that we make around the, you know, around the country and around the world to try to bring in quality players that would fit the mold we're looking for.
Now you've had some in the Philadelphia organization, some Russian kids. How did you find them, and what was that like having boys on the team that can't speak English? So.
Some of them were, you know, a very nice turnout, and it worked well. You know, others, the difference in the culture shock and the communication barrier, you know, didn't really work out quite the same. And obviously, there's different styles of play coming from Russia and coming into the, you know, Philadelphia area, or coming to the East Coast and playing hockey. So I mean, some kids are able to adjust, and you know, some kids, you know, they weren't able to make those, you know, solid adjustments in the style of game. but it's always interesting having, you know, different types of players in there, and I think they add to a nice mix to the locker room. You know, guys love to joke around and try on their own accents and, you know, make friends with all different kinds of people.
Now, what's an average week like in the EJ as far as practices? Do the kids work out on their own? Do they do they have what I would call captain's practices? Just let's hear a little bit about what a typical schedule for a week would be for an EJ player.
Sure. Majority of our games take place on Saturday and Sunday.
So you're playing the same team twice back to back, a Saturday night game and then a Sunday morning game?
Usually, yeah. That's how it goes typically. We have the ice for an hour and a half, Monday through Friday, and that's the official practice times. We also have before each practice an hour of ice time for, you know, any guys that want to come out and work on certain small areas of their games, certain, you know, tactical things that they need to get better at, and, you know, majority of the time we'll use 4 to 5 of those ice slots, you know, for practice before we go away on the weekend or play at home on the weekend. And then we also have a physical trainer and a gym in the rink that it's attached to their locker room. So they work out with the personal trainer 2 to 3 times a week, depending on the schedule and the time of year.
So it's a very big commitment then to be playing in the EJ.
Yeah,
you're not a part-time player. It's basically a full-time 7-day-a-week job.
That's correct. We're looking for kids that are committed and dedicated to hockey and want to make sure it's part of their college experience.
And not all the kids on the EJ team are out of high school. So some kids are juggling high school along with the big practice schedule that they'll have in front of them. So, okay. Now, what kind of a coach are you? What are you looking for in a player? And what kind of systems do you run? And does it evolve every year based on what players you have, or are you going to try to run your same system no matter what you do with the players you have?
Well, I think you do need to make adjustments depending on what kind of team you have, you know, what kind of skill sets they have. But I think the number one constant is that I'm a defense first coach. That's what I'd like to stress to my team. You know, I'm a believer that you can rely on having strong defense every day, and on offense you got to take it as it comes. You can't force offense. So, you know, what you can rely on is having a strong defensive style game. And then along with that, I prefer my team to be aggressive over sitting back. So we're high pressure situation, and, you know, defensive all over the puck. I like it to be physical. I like it to be a little bit gritty. And, you know, we play a lot of nuts and bolts hockey.
And I can tell you from seeing your games that when you're killing a penalty, your guys go right at them, and that's the way I think it should be played. So that's very good. Okay, now a typical practice in the Eastern Junior Hockey League. What do you do? Is it all systems? Do you expect the boys to be in shape? And I mean, what exactly do you do in your practices?
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice mix, and with 5 days to work with, it's depending on the time of the week. So, you know, coming off of a weekend and we come into practice Monday would probably be a purely skills day. You know, working on your edges, working on your stick handling, getting, you know, your shot crisp and where you need it to be. So that would be more of a skill skate, and then, you know, after a little bit of a rest on a Monday, skill skate. Tuesday we'll go into battling and working on our D zone. You know, winning battles in front of the net, winning battles in the corners, you know, a highly competitive skate, you know, and then as the week progresses, you know, as needed, maybe Wednesday would be more of a systems day, and, you know, Thursday a special teams day. You get a feel-good practice on Friday and get ready for the weekend. So, yeah, it's a week-long preparation, and try to touch on everything as needed.
And what do you look for in a goalie?
What do I look for? I look for a goalie that stops the puck. You know, I don't care how ugly goalies look. I don't, you know, care how old or young. You know, you need a goalie that makes saves at the right moments. You need a goalie that makes the timely save for you. So, you know, of course you want them to make all the saves they're supposed to make, and you hope they can bail you out once or twice a game. And when they bail you out, you need it to be at that opportune moment that it really helps the team. Nobody needs a breakaway save when you're already down 6-3 in the third.
Right. Okay, well, I think that's about it for today. James Laux from the Philadelphia Revolution, I'd like to thank you for talking with us today, and we'll see you next time.